guys, welcome back. Today's recipe is going to be on Eddoes Talkari, also called white Eddoes or Sada Eddoes. Sada just means it's vegetarian. So we also call this Chinese Eddoes, or in Spanish countries it's called malangas, and it's a family to the taro plant. So it's very similar to aloo or potato, but it has much more of a creamy texture. To me, I find it's like it melts in your mouth kind of like butter. Well, that's just my opinion about it. I love it. I love to replace it with potato or aloo. Instead of making like aloo roti, I like to fill it with Eddoes. So I did a video on that. I will have it linked here in the upper right hand corner, and you'll also see it at the end of this video. So go check that out. So I'm going to share my recipe for Eddoes Talkari with you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. If you want to see how I do it, keep watching. So I have some Eddoes here. This is the main ingredient for our dish today. And this is also called malanga. It's a family to the taro root. And it's also called Chinese Eddoes as well. It's very popular in Chinese cooking. And it's also really popular in Caribbean and West Indian cooking. So I just have about 12 or 13 Eddoes here. And these are quite small. You might see some large ones at the grocery, and you might see some smaller ones as well. It's fine once it looks like this. There are different varieties out there, but this is the one that I got. Usually in Trinidad you would get a much smaller one like this. You'll definitely find different variations wherever you live. Next, I have some pimento peppers. This is totally optional. You don't have to add this to the dish. This is what a pimento pepper looks like. It has a lot of flavor but not too much heat. If you get this in Trinidad, you'll get some heat with it, because I noticed that a lot of pimentos in Trinidad, and even in Queens here when I buy it at the market, they have a lot of heat in it. So just be careful. When you cut it open, just smell it to make sure that it's not too hot. So I just cut up a few, and all the exact measurements that I have here will be listed in the description box below. So just click that little arrow and you'll see all the exact measurements. I also have hot pepper. I'm gonna use half and then I'll taste it to see if it needs more. I have an onion that I just diced up. I have some garlic. This is about 1.5 heads of garlic that I just minced. And this is totally optional to this dish. It's some chopped shadon beni or culantro, also called recao. Or if you don't have this, you can totally omit it, or you can use cilantro in place of it. I just like to add a little bit. I like to chunky it in the oil. It gives it a really good flavor. And I'm just going to use a little bit of salt and a little bit of coconut oil to chunky it. So I'm just going to show you how I peel and cut up the Eddoes. This is just how I cut it up. I know everyone cuts it differently. You can cut it into big cubes if you want. But let me show you how I do it. So if you want, when you cut it up, you can put it in a basin with some water, just so that by the time you finish peeling it, it doesn't get black like how aloo and potatoes get black when you peel it. It's just a little tip just so that it doesn't get too black. So what I like to do is cut it into thick circles. So when it cooks, it doesn't totally get mushed up, but it keeps its shape. Honestly, when I make Eddoes shuka, I don't like when everything is mashed up. I like to have some big pieces as well. So when I dip my roti, I could, dip a little piece of the Eddoes. So you can do some of them thin and some of them thick, so that some melt and create a thick sauce, and then some of them remain thick. So I'm just going to finish this up, and then we'll head over to the pot to start making the Eddoes Talkari. So to a pot on medium heat, you're gonna add some oil in. I'm just adding some coconut oil. So once your oil is heated up enough, add your onions in. After about a minute, add your garlic in, as well as your hot pepper. So you just want this to chunky a little bit. And chunky just means to fry in oil, in hot oil. It's just a Trini slang. And at this point, I like to add the chopped shadon beni. When it chunkies, it gives it a different flavor. And it gives a little color to the eddoes as well. So after that's fried up for about a next minute, now you want to add your eddoes in. And you're going to just stir that in to all the veggies. So it's been about 12 minutes exactly now, and the eddoes has softened up quite a bit. So what I'm gonna do is take the back of the spoon and go in and kind of mash some of them. And I'm not gonna mash all, but if you want, you could do that. So at this point it looks perfect to take down now, but if you wanted it a little drier, then you could leave it to dry down a little. And if you're gonna mash it, then you could turn it off right away, because as you mash it, it'll get thicker. It'll get kind of like a choker. So at this point, just taste it for salt or pepper or anything else, and it's good to turn off now. So I'm gonna turn it off, and I'm gonna serve this with some sada roti. So this is called white eddoes or Eddoes Talkari. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave me your comments down below. Tell me if you make it differently. Tell me if you enjoy Eddoes Talkari. This is actually one of my favorites. And you could use breadfruit in place of eddoes, or you could use aloo or potato. So you could make the potato the exact same way. Potato Talkari, aloo Talkari. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Leave me all your comments down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to see all my latest videos, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!